I never acted that way in church. And so whatever they do right, I'm very grateful for. I have 4 brothers and 7 sisters. I grew up in Livonia and went to St. Edith Parish. My uncle is a Monsignor who just recently passed, and I am just honored to be in this beautiful space. An honor to talk about St. Joseph the Worker. What beautiful words we heard about St. Joseph. And so I know for most of you, you have some thoughts. Can I step away and you still hear me? You have some thoughts about who St. Joseph is for you. So before I share about who I am and the foundation and some thoughts, you can't hear anymore, about St. Joseph, I would like to hear from you, what's one word, one attribute, one adjective that you would identify for your perspective, St. Joseph the Worker? Just one word. Go ahead and shout them out. Protector, courageous, humble, loving, obedient, compassionate, marvelous. All of these good things are really what call us to St. Joseph. During our prayer this morning, the words that struck me were discipline, sharing, grace, charity, selflessness, and love. All of these things made up Jesus' dad. And so I love that we have him here, right, with his tools for building, for loving, for creating. That's who he was as Jesus' dad, right? All of these things come to fruition. What I hope to talk about today is about this idea of selflessness, of grace, of charity, of sharing that we see in St. Joseph the Worker, that we have the opportunity to see through our work at the Catholic Foundation of Michigan. So it's very much my privilege to be here. When I was young, one of these children in the front row, I used to think Joseph was a carpenter. He laid carpet. My ideas have grown. Thank God they have grown to understanding him as a dedicated servant, which can connect us to sharing and draw us forward as people to give and to care and to potentially be people of philanthropy. When we think about the work and the words of hard work, we think about integrity and service and how it is that our work and our sharing can contribute to the common good. Okay. The mission of the Catholic Foundation of Michigan, we are a Catholic community foundation, is really to do 3 things. It's to inspire generosity, make giving easy, and to support ministries now and forever. And what that means is that we help people tell stories. We help people engage in discernment, and we provide charitable tools for folks when they want to give, to be generous, to be supportive. And then we provide grants, right? We support ministries and organizations now and forever by providing competitive grants, responsive grants to the community, and we provide tools that provide dollars through endowments, forever funds to support ministries and organizations. And so that's a bit who we are. What makes us different from other community foundations, other foundations, is that we're Catholic. Everything we do, every dollar that comes in the door and every dollar that goes out the door through our granting is all done and grown in Catholic teachings. So we follow the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops' moral investment guidelines for every dollar that we receive. And every dollar that goes out the door through our granting, whether it's competitive granting or through funds like a donor-advised funds, those all go out the door to ensure our dollars are in line with teachings to ministries and organizations, Catholic and not, but always in line with our teachings. So that's what we do and why we do it. We want to be something that is an organization that provides resources to ministries in our area. We support the church, but we're not the church. We're not part of the Archdiocese of Detroit or any diocese of Detroit or our diocese in the state of Michigan. Instead, we are led by a group of laymen and women who wanted to ensure there was separate, transparent, generous dollars. to support our ministries. So that's what I represent, the Catholic Foundation of Michigan. I have a master's degree in theology, and so through this work of philanthropy and discernment, it's really my joy to do this. I have been a real believer in hearing and listening to the words, right? When we say words, there's not many words, if any, that we hear from St. Joseph. But what we do hear is a model of inspiration and love. And so he has been someone that has guided me in my ministry and my profession since the beginning. I started my career at a Holy Cross school just outside of DC, and the Holy Cross charism is really rooted in St. Joseph and his inspiration as just a humble servant of God who said yes when called upon with this crazy idea is one that has inspired me for my life. So, when we think about the ministry that happens here, I'd like again to call on you. Well, tell me a little bit about what draws you to this ministry, this space, and this place. Maybe a word or a phrase. Jesus. Peace. Holiness. Mercy. Holy Spirit. Our Lady. Healing. No accident there. When one of my favorite things to do is to sit here and watch people receive communion. Because in those moments, if I do that, I see the yearning and the hunger and the desire for Christ. And it's so obvious that that's why we're here, right? Wanting to be part of that communion for Christ. And so when we think of our beautiful ministries, such as this, that fill us with God's love, that fill us with this goodness, we think about how important it is in our lives. Sometimes we forget or we don't think about how important it is in the lives of others, how important it needs to be in the lives of those here tomorrow, or those who come here in 10 years from now, or those who are going to come here 100 years from now, right? While it might look different, our hope and our prayer is that it is here forever. It is here to nourish and fill people with the same things you're receiving today forever. And so part of the mission of the Catholic Foundation is to ensure there are the financial resources, to ensure the community is here forever, the community is strong and robust and growing and serving, and to make sure that the space can grow, the space can be sustained now and forever. And so we have had the opportunity over the past year to work together with the sisters in order to create 3 funds to make sure the ministry is sustained today and the ministry is sustained forever through an endowment, as well as the sisters are supported in their mission, in their ministry, to make sure that they have what they need to grow and to flourish and to continue to support this good work. So that's a bit about what was created. An endowment fund is a forever fund. What that means is that dollars are set aside, and annually, every year, the sisters will receive money in order to continue to do this work. So we have a designated fund for the now, a forever fund for the ministry, and a forever fund for the sisters. So imagine this community, right? Forever growing, forever having the resources. Imagine those of us in this room being able to support today and support forever. For a lot of us, our minds don't always think that way. Our minds don't always work that way. We don't often think about how we can support forever. I'd like to tell you a few stories today about how others have done this. And what we've thought about is stories of dads, right? Thinking of Joseph and thinking of him as a worker. And so I'm going to walk away again. I'm going to tell 3 stories. The first is the story of Gene. Gene is a dad who has 3 kids. He loves his children. He's done everything you could ever imagine to support his kids. But at the end of Gene's life, he has 4 beneficiaries in his will. Why would you do that? You love your children, right? Why would he have 4 beneficiaries? The 4th, he has a beneficiary of the church. He wants to make sure that the organizations and the ministries he loves and loved during his lifetime are supported after he passes. So when he passes, a quarter of what's left over will go into a charitable fund held at the Catholic Foundation of Michigan for his named beneficiaries. That's outstanding. What it does is it does a few things. One, it tells his children, you are important to me. You are not everything, right? The church is also important to me. And so he's communicated that to his kids, and his kids understand that, which is a beautiful gift. And so thinking about the end of his life, he's planned and prepared, utilizing a charitable tool in order to do that. We have another story of a dad who showed a little bit of a tougher love with his kids. So this dad, he loves Catholic schools, and he told his daughters, guess what? When your mom and I are gone, we're leaving money to support Catholic education. And the kids were mad. They said, what are you doing with our money? Our money? It's not your money, it's mom and I's money, right? So he said, how about this? Rather than you be angry, which they were at mom and I, how about you learn about why? Now, two of these children, right, both didn't go to church. Two of these kids weren't 100% sure they wanted to do this. So they started reading applications about why children choose to go to Catholic schools, why parents are sending their kids to Catholic schools. He gets a phone call right as they're getting ready for bed. Oh no. Picks up the phone. Mom, Dad, we need to give more. These kids are sacrificing. These parents are working multiple jobs to ensure their kids have a Catholic education. I took my Catholic education for granted. Can we give more? So now you have these two children who've shifted their perspective, allowed mom and dad to wrestle with that anger, allowed them to show them a transformational experience, all because they did this advanced planning and had a conversation with their daughters. Again, tough love, but honest love. It makes me think of what are some of those tough conversations Joseph maybe had with Jesus. My guess is he probably had to have maybe a few. Jesus looked like a rabble-rouser, in my opinion. And then I want to talk about my dad. So my dad is Peter. He was pretty amazing. I'm the youngest of 12, and so I am confident he's a saint now, at least in my heart. He passed away 2 years ago. And as we were thinking about his passing, again, I'm the youngest of 12. I said, Dad, what do you want us to do when you pass? He died at 95. We had plenty of time to talk and plan. It was quite a gift. I said, Dad, what can we do? My one sister said, are you trying to kill him? I said, he is 92. When are we going to have this conversation if we don't have it? My dad was a professor at Madonna University, a math teacher. And I said, how about we create a scholarship for a math student? And he says, how about a math student who's normally not represented? Because there's a lot of men math teachers out there, right? And so we created the Pete Moloney Scholarship at Madonna University in my dad's name. And so now, for 2 years in a row, we've gotten this beautiful video of some geeky little math student, sorry for these math students who are here, right? This geeky little math student who says to my mom and my siblings, thanks so much. It's not a big gift, but they're remembering and praying for my dad, and my mom is feeling that and hearing that. So a gift of a dad who's taught us about love, about church, about sacrifice, about giving back. Again, all because of our faith. And as kids, we've had the opportunity now to see how that love turned into something different. And what I really enjoy about my work at the Catholic Foundation is this is what we get to do all day long, is say, what is it that you love? How is it we can help you support the things that you love? Now, we're here today because we support and love this space and this place. And so I invite you to think about what is necessary to make sure this is here forever. We talk about the now, the big, and the forever. We have to keep the lights on. We have to support this ministry. The big, there's going to be big projects on the horizon. We know there's been big projects. I think the kitchen was a big one a few years ago, right? And we know there's going to continually be big projects that we're going to be invited to participate in. Our prayer is that you say yes. But being thoughtful and mindful about the forever of this place. What is it that you can do or think about for the forever as well? We want to make sure that this ministry goes on forever and ever and ever. These sisters are here forever and ever and ever, right? That Christ is present, that hope is available, that healing and love can be found on this corner and that corner and this corner and wherever else it might grow. But that's the forever. So my thought and my prayer for you is, think about what can you do specifically during this Lenten season to be people of love, to be people of charity, to be people of fasting, and to be people of selflessness, which is what I heard in our readings and our homily today. And how might this forever idea be one that calls you to give more to this community? The beautiful things about the stories that I shared is that they're each different, right? Every story is unique because each of us is unique. The reason that you are called here is unique. And so if you have interests or desires to learn about how you can support this space and this ministry for the future, there's no wrong intention. There's no wrong way to go about it. It's just, what is your heart calling you to? The nice thing about what the sisters have already done is that we have the Shrine of Jesus, Shrine of Jesus of the Divine Mercy Support Fund, the endowment, and the Women of Jesus' Merciful Passion endowment. Those have already been established. They're easy to name as a life insurance policy beneficiary. It's easy to name that in your will, in your trust, for the long term, for the forever. And so that's our invitation for you today, to think about how to give and how to support them. At our table, and you'll receive from the community here 5 ways. There's so many different ways you can support this ministry today and forever. So thinking about St. Joseph, the worker, his role in service, his role in stewardship, his role in generosity, it really comes down to his work. And his life work was more than laying carpet. It was laying a foundation, right? A foundation for Jesus to be welcomed and fostered and loved. Think of his household and what it had to be like. And we know what his dad must have been like, even though there's no words to tell us. His dad taught us that it's important to give and to share and to think about the well-being of others, because that's how Jesus turned out. Joseph taught us that any action, big or small, is going to serve a higher purpose. It's going to serve the community. It gave us Jesus. Our hope is that we can continue in the spirit of St. Joseph the worker to be humble servants like him. And our job at the Catholic Foundation, Jean Ann is here with me, our job at the Catholic Foundation is, if you choose to do that through philanthropy, we can help you do that easily, efficiently, and joyfully. Thank you. Are there time for questions? I'd be happy to take any questions. So if someone wants to give, there's multiple ways, right? So there's various options. As you know, we've got this designated fund, which is a now fund. You could give via credit card, check, stock. I know a lot of our nonprofits don't really know how to accept gifts of stock. The Catholic Foundation can accept those gifts of stock. Those are the now gifts. The forever gifts, again, all of those same ways. If you want to say, I've already given my now gift to the ministry, I want to look at the forever. Again, all of those same ways. Some people leave us in their will. Some people leave us in their, utilizing their IRA, the required minimum distribution from your IRA accounts. Those can go directly to the designated fund, right, as well. And so that's an easy gift because you need to give it away in order to receive the full tax benefit. And some people have left their homes for the benefit of ministries, and so we can help work with families to look at what are the gifts that you want to give and identify the easiest way to do that. Jean Ann, do you want to answer? Is there anything else you want to add to that question?
Maybe if you could just explain a little more about the designated fund and how it's accessible anytime.
Yeah, so what makes an endowment different from a designated fund? Both are restricted for this ministry here, But the nice thing about the designated fund is that it's 100% liquid. So whenever the community and the sisters need it, they're able to use it. So those are really the now dollars to make sure it's accessible now for you to use. Where an endowment, that's going to give money back to the ministry forever. And so let's just say $100,000 is in the endowment. Every year, the community here will receive $5,000 forever. So in 20 years, the $100,000 has already been given back to them, and $5,000 every year forever. So an endowment is a really powerful tool as well. So think about, what I've often talked about in my family is that if I'm giving this amount today, if my gift was to stop, where would the ministries that I love get the dollars? So if I can put something in my end-of-life plan to make sure they have that support while I'm gone, an endowment is a great tool for that.
Is there any certain amount of money that someone would need to?
Yeah, being that the funds here are already established, to support this ministry and the sisters, anything above $5, right? If you were to create your own fund, then there's nothing wrong with creating your named fund to benefit the ministry here. That's typically $5,000 or $10,000, depending on the long-term or short-term type of fund. If it's an endowment, $10,000. If it's a designated fund or donor-advised fund, those just start at $5,000, and it all goes to charity. Everything you designate is restricted to that charity. Mm-hmm.
And I would also share that you can make a simple contribution by check or credit card via the giving pages, and we have more information about that at the tables.
So Jean Ann is our donor services specialist. So Jean Ann is the one who has the opportunity to work with all of the donations when they come in for the benefit of the funds. And so she is the expert on how to make these things happen easily and smoothly. And so we have a document that we're going to pass out. It's called the 5 Ways to Support the ministry here. And you can consider one of those ways. Great. Well, thank you all. I appreciate you staying and listening.